All right, are you ready for this? We are not doing a very simple 5 acoustic guitars under $500 like some other channels might. No, we are stepping it up a notch. Today, we are doing 6 under 600. Check it out. Hey, you're watching Alamo Music TV. My name is Chris McKee.
And I'm Cooper Greenberg.
We're here with Alamo Music Center in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you're new to our channel, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and like our videos. If you'd like to support the channel, make sure to visit our Teespring store for some custom designed t-shirts, and feel free to buy something as well. One of these days, I should be Cooper and you should be Chris. We'll just change characters.
Yeah, I'll be like, if you want to support the Gap, you know, go online, gap.com.
Get your own cable knit sweater. All right, so today we are looking at 6 acoustic guitars under $600. Now, here's the disclaimer. Before all the angry comments come out, these are not like the definitive list, the top 6 you can possibly buy. These are 6 great guitars, 6 recommendations from us in this price range, and 6 that you may actually be able to buy in the year 2020. Because if you haven't been paying attention, there are supply constraints all over the place, including in the guitar market. And by the way, if you don't know why that's happening, I did a video discussing that early at the very beginning of this pandemic. You can click on that there, and then you can come back and let me say to you, I told you so. But nevertheless, we've gone through all of that. 2020 is almost over, so you know there's light at the end of this tunnel. But regardless, I think this year, particularly for Christmas, a lot of people are looking at musical instruments. I think all year long we've seen people buying a lot of guitars and keyboards and things because they're turning to music and other hobbies that they've long forgotten or they're re-embracing. And if you are looking at this price range for yourself or for someone else, it's really hard to go wrong with the 6 guitars we're looking at today.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'll go ahead and start.
Go ahead.
Because this is kind of a different one, actually.
We know it's catching your eye already.
Yes. And I've talked about this guitar before. This is an Ibanez AEWC32FM. It comes in a variety of finishes. This one is, I think, the Amber Sunburst Fade. So it's a very cool crossfade over a laminate figured maple top. And this guitar is different from any of the others that we're going to be looking at today because it is really geared for kind of plug-in performance. You can play this at home just fine. It's got some good volume out of it. Being that's a laminate top, it's not going to be as loud acoustically as any of the other guitars that we're looking at today. It just can't resonate as much. Also, it's very, very thin. I mean, look at that. It's really thin. But that means it's extremely comfortable. I think of this guitar as really being one of the very best acoustic electric guitars in this price range for the electric guitar player. If you're wanting something that's not going to feed back on stage, this isn't going to because of its laminate top and back and side construction and its thin design. It feels really great. It's got a fantastic neck on it. Nice satin finish, plays really well. It's equipped with a built-in tuner and acoustic electric pickup, so it's just kind of ready to rock, and it's got a cool look to it. You can get in this, you can get it in a kind of a blue fade, which is awesome. It's easy to restring because there's no bridge pins. It's just kind of a string-through bridge design. I really like these thin line guitars. And there's some others out there. In fact, there's been variations on this theme for a while. I didn't like a lot of them. They were kind of wanting. But I really think that at this price range, Ibanez has done a good job with this guitar. To me, it almost hits on, I also like the sharp cutaway. This hits on some of the other videos. I like a lot some of the products Ibanez puts out.
Yeah.
Even though it's not normally in my wheelhouse.
They're nice switch up, like from your typical what you would go to in your mind. And they're high quality and it looks modern but not gaudy.
Yes.
You know? It looks sharp. It's cool.
Yeah.
I dig it.
So very, very cool. I think a lot of you guys could, or gals, could really do well with this. And it's an extremely great, comfortable, like couch guitar if you just want something to be comfortable with.
Yeah.
It definitely fills that need. From the modern end of the spectrum, we are definitely going more traditional with the one you've got.
Yeah, so this is the Yamaha FSX800C, C for cutaway and X for extreme.
Sure.
No, X for you can plug this bad boy in. And
I don't know why they say X, but whatever. Yeah, it means
cool.
electronics.
X is cool. Got this cool vintage tint spruce top, so this is a solid top.
And this vintage tint, by the way, is kind of a limited edition. We have a bunch of these that we were able to get. They were for specific dealers. And so, you know, I think through the holiday season, I think we have about 30, which is almost unheard of for us to be able to have gotten these. But thankfully, we ordered a bunch and got a bunch. But, you know, this vintage top they've done a few times, and it's usually extremely popular. I love the look.
Yeah, the look is very cool. We talked a little bit about the FG800 in a couple previous videos, being kind of this very nice kind of entry-level, great quality guitar, and talked a little bit about how the Yamaha Acoustics, they have this very classic look. They sound amazing. They, all the way up through the line, we're big fans of the Red Label guitars, but kind of the FGX, FSX, they're really solid. They sound very full. It's not necessarily the thin line that you have over there, but it's still not this massive.
Yeah, this FS body shape. So the whole FG and FS line could be in this video. We could just do the entire video on an FG800, an FG820, 830 FS versions. They are all fantastic guitars, including the cutaway versions of these guitars with electronics. The thing that you have to know on any of these, whether it's the smaller body, concert body FS, or the larger body FG, which is a kind of a dreadnought body shape, solid top, scallop bracing, great playability, fantastic pickup, huge value.
Yeah, hits kind of all the check marks on our step-up guitar kind of checklist. Cool, very comfortable satin neck. It's, again, it's not this kind of maybe an electric player than over here, but it would be a great
this is definitely thinner, but that's really comfortable.
This is very comfortable. Yeah, and just a great sounding guitar. And if you're looking for something within that under $600 range, it's great to find something with electronics. You got kind of a 3-band EQ and a tuner, and so, you know, kind of checks off a few extra things that you might have to go buy extra. So, yeah.
We're huge fans of Yamaha acoustic guitars and their acoustic electric guitars. That should, if you've watched this video or this channel for any amount of time, you should know that. If you're new, make sure you hit that subscribe button, okay? But yeah, we love their guitars. I think they make fantastic guitars. They have for decades and decades, and the 800 version of the FGFS and FSX, FGX versions have really hit it out of the park for a few years going on now. I love the vintage top of these. I love the smaller body, particularly for a plug-in acoustic electric guitar. But any of these, you really just can't go wrong with. So,
give me that guy. I'll switch him out.
Let's see what I get. Let's see what I get. It's like Christmas morning.
Have you ever gotten a Christmas guitar, Chris?
You know, I haven't. I've shared on this channel before that I asked for a guitar multiple times from my mother. I had other musical instruments. I was in band. She bought me very nice euphoniums and stuff. If you don't know what that is, Google it. Yeah, I did not get a guitar. I had to finagle one by joining mariachi and getting a really bad one. So yeah, no Christmas guitars. You?
I've never gotten a Christmas guitar. I've gotten Hanukkah guitars. Am I right? But no, actually, I have not gotten Hanukkah guitars.
No. Birthday present guitars. I know you got a birthday present guitar because I helped pick it out.
Yeah, and you changed my life.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
All right.
So change our lives with what you got over there.
So this is another guitar that we featured in a recent video. In fact, with a Yamaha, if I recall correctly. This is a Fender CD140SCE. This is part of Fender's classic series of acoustic guitars. And this is one of the acoustic electric versions. They remodeled these a few years ago, bringing solid top with scallop bracing, bone nut, things like that to the equation. And the electronics were revamped with a collaboration with Fishman. If you're not familiar with Fishman, they are probably the premier pickup maker for acoustic instruments, period. Followed closely by LR Baggs, but I would say Fishman is probably #1 by market share and whatnot. And so Fender's collaborated with Fishman to make a onboard preamp pickup system with a built-in tuner and everything. That's a really good system. What I like about the CD140SE is not just the construction, the playability, and the great tone that you get out of it. There's a lot of options available. This one that I'm holding is typically the most popular that we tend to sell out of really quickly over and over, and that's the mahogany top version. So you can get this with a spruce top in a variety of finishes or this mahogany top. And the mahogany top, a lot of people like, one, for the look of it, but two, mahogany gives you this nice warm mid-range sound that has some natural compression the more you dig into it, kind of the rounder the notes get. And so it's really a sought after construction and guitar top, and it's not something you usually see in this price range. Most acoustic guitars, generally speaking, are spruce tops, period. And then in this price range, it gets even more so. There's not very many solid top acoustic guitars or acoustic electric guitars under $600 that feature a mahogany top. And so I really like that. And bonus, it comes with a case. So a lot of value here, a lot of bang for your buck, and a lot of variety and options if you are trying to stay under $600.
Yeah.
You, however, are holding one of my favorite guitars at any price range.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This is the Academy 12 from Taylor, the Grand Concert body, and it's something special. I think getting any Taylor at this price range, they don't really make a bad guitar, so that's the coolest part about them. They don't make anything that is of low value. They are a great value company, but the Academy series, which is kind of their student, you might say student series.
Specifically, that's why it's called Academy.
Yeah. It's very cool, very simple design. It's got the cool
armrest bevel?
Beveled armrest, but spruce top.
Which is, it's crazy that they're doing that at this price range.
Yeah.
They specifically have talked about that they can do it because there's no binding, but you otherwise see that on their much more expensive guitar offerings because they have binding and there's a lot of work that has to go into it. But with this, they're able to just kind of mill that off and give you this nice armrest, which is cool.
And for, I guess, a student model, the whole goal is to make something extremely comfortable so you'll be, inclined to play more, practice more, make it as easy as possible for you to kind of dedicate yourself to the instrument. And these make it super easy. Like I was saying, spruce top, layered sapele back and sides.
Yep, layered sapele back and sides.
Is that a maple neck on there?
It is. When they were first introduced, they were sapele.
Yeah.
And they've switched to maple, which I like. Maple feels fantastic because it's a very small pore wood, so you don't have to use a lot of filler, and you can do a satin finish on it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why a lot of electric guitar necks, like a Fender Strat neck, is maple. It doesn't move a lot, and it just feels great when finished, like a really nice baseball bat.
Yeah, it comes with a great soft case. And you can also check out versions that have electronics. You can check out a nylon version. You can check out a dreadnought version. When I first started working here, I had like an A12N on a stand, like next to my chair most days. And it's, I've always wanted like a higher end nylon string, and I would almost choose that A12N like over anything if I was just gonna go pick one, because it's super comfortable for a nylon string guitar.
If anyone wants to get Cooper a Hanukkah present. Yeah,
let's go. No, but yeah, the Academy series, specifically the Academy 12 that we got here is an awesome option.
Yeah, I was reflecting on the Academy series and another Taylor that we're about to look at, and it's interesting that when I first kind of became aware of Taylor back in my early 20s, they didn't offer anything other than the Baby, which was a new offering that was under $1,000. And now they're a huge player in this price range with incredibly high quality instruments. I think it really speaks to how well the markets receive them based upon how good the guitars are. So yeah, the nylon string version I think is like $549 without a pickup, if I'm remembering that correctly. So really hard to beat, really fantastic guitars.
And if you're a recording artist, you record at home and you just need something with nylon strings, A12N, it's just a nice flavor to add into your arsenal.
I can't think of another nylon string guitar, period, that has the armrest in any. It's
got to be something custom, something.
Yeah, there's probably something out there. Someone can let me know.
Definitely
in the comments,
nothing that
we
have seen come through here.
Very cool guitar offerings. Now I get another guitar. Which one will Cooper give me?
I'm going to torture you again. Because I
Not
know,
really.
I know it's not torture, but I know everybody in this room wants to hold this. So
Well, that is the most popular offering. But
Yeah.
let's start over here because I did a video when these came out, and you can click on that there or search our channel for it. This is a Martin Junior Triple O. So I think the actual nomenclature is Triple O CJR, something to that effect. Did I get that right? Triple O CJR10. Yep. And I really, in the video, I was like, Taylor or Martin's kind of coming after Taylor's dominant market share of this premium travel guitar. And I think that's what the GS Mini could be rightfully called. There are more affordable travel guitars than either of the ones that we are looking at. But in that premium part of that segment, the GS Mini reigns supreme. It reigns over every other travel guitar for very good reason. I think Taylor makes more GS Minis than some guitar manufacturers make guitars. That's how popular it is worldwide. And I think, it was with that knowledge that Martin said, we are going to do something to offer a guitar in that range that's maybe better than the GS Mini, arguably. So you can argue the point. If you are a Martin fan, you probably already believe that. But there are some points to make for it. So the Triple O body is more in line with the GS Mini than the Dreadnought Junior, which has been out for a longer period of time. It's available with the cutaway like this or without, with a pickup system. It's a Fishman Sonotone with controls right there, so there's nothing in the side, which I prefer. You've got this nice kind of pearloid rosette. You do get a gig bag, which I think is definitely a plus. I love that Taylor includes a gig bag or case with every guitar they make. I think every manufacturer should. You get this great satin finish, but here's the kicker for me that really makes this a compelling offering. All solid wood construction, so that's a leg up over the GS Mini, one could argue. You've got the scallop bracing, solid Sitka spruce top, solid Sapele back and sides, and then this one my hand just prefers. It's got a 1 3/4 inch nut. And I prefer that nut width. It's a fraction of an inch, but I notice it. And when we first started doing videos on this channel, I don't know if you've ever encountered this in doing, when you're playing all of these guitars, they're all different. And, Cooper can be just Cooper, regardless of the thickness of the neck, the nut width, the radius, right? It's kind of something to be said for don't get lost in the weeds of specs.
Yeah.
But you do also have preferences. And one of the things that I used to always do when I was playing a GS Mini or any of the narrower nut guitars is I would pull the high E string off the end of the fretboard in the middle of the demo and stop and have to, and then it was fine. I just had to mentally remind myself to be a little bit more careful because I was so much more used to a wider neck. Have you experienced that in any of the demos we do?
Yeah, definitely. I've definitely started over to where it gets edited out and you don't get to see it. But it's weird, especially with stuff like this where we're playing stuff back to back. You start to pick up like the most subtle nuances between these guitars, and it's a great way for us to kind of narrow down exactly what what our preferences are.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can notice those things for sure.
So I own a GS Mini. I'm not getting rid of it because it's got a narrower nut. But if there was one thing I could change on it, it would be that. I would want a slightly wider nut. And so I do prefer that in this guitar. I like the pickup, and I like all solid construction. So that's definitely the hallmarks of that. But you've got a great guitar.
On the Martin Jr. stuff, the thing that blew me away when I played them first was how loud they are. The Dreadnought Junior too, especially, and I guess that a lot of that probably has to do with all solid construction and everything, and the bracing, but something about them, they just like project like crazy.
There's something interesting too, and I've meant to ask someone at Martin the decision behind this. These all come with their retro strings. You notice that? They come with the retro strings. They're Monel. I'm a big fan of them with this wood pairing. I've gone on record as saying I don't really like them with Rosewood, and the reason is because there's a very strong fundamental note with the retro strings. You don't get a lot of overtones, which is what you want in Rosewood. So I don't like that pairing, but with something like this, I really do like that kind of drier sound. And so you get this really nice vintage, dark, dry mahogany tone out of a small body guitar with these strings. It'd be interesting for someone to actually experiment with these and see what kind of putting maybe a brighter set of Foster Bronze or even 8020s might sound like on these guitars.
And just, you can't tell this in the video, but taking that out of the case, I can smell the wood from here, and it smells so good.
Smell-o-vision.
Yeah, smell-o-vision. So without further ado, though, we got the GS Mini Rosewood right here, and we've talked a ton about these guitars on the channel, but if you haven't seen the 150 videos that include GS Mini talk about like the premier small-scale, travel-size acoustic guitar. Chris has one, I have one. They are pretty crucial, I would say, for any, say, collector, or if you even just got to pick like 1 or 2 guitars. I would always encourage somebody to add one of these in because it's made me practice more. I've taken my guitar more places, which maybe other people don't love, but I like to have a guitar with me anytime I go on a trip. And if I'm going to maybe play at a friend's house, or I'm going to write somewhere or whatever, this is kind of the most convenient thing that I've ever added to my arsenal.
What's interesting about the GS Mini is, it was introduced as a travel guitar, and I think it has kind of eclipsed that. People buy these as their primary guitar. My son has one. It's his primary acoustic guitar. And it's kind of brought things even like this into that foray of looking at smaller body guitars as your guitar. Even before Ed Sheeran was doing it, people have been going, yeah, you know what, these are comfortable to play, why not? It's where Taylor's new GTs even come into the fray. This has, I think, broken conventions to that extent that people just, that's their guitar. And so when we've done this list in the past, I've kind of been hesitant to include travel guitars because they're almost like their own segment.
Yeah.
But they really aren't anymore. They've kind of becoming it just another acoustic guitar.
Yeah, and you can spend a little bit more outside of the price range and get a pickup in there that sounds great in a live setting. There's been a lot of times I have like a little Fender Passport PA for smaller gigs. I'll just bring my GS Mini and the Passport and walk in with all the gear that I need,
And it's smart how Taylor's done this. So if you aren't aware, so this is just a GS Mini Rosewood. There's no pickup on it. There are pickup offerings in more expensive models that are outside of our price range. But if you happen to have one of these, Taylor has actually taken a few extra steps so that you could really quickly and easily add a pickup. They make a pickup system called the ES-Go that just clicks into a slot that is already in the guitar underneath the fretboard, and there's already a little tie anchor, so like the cable anchor rather, that's stuck in on the side of the guitar. Did you know that?
I did not.
Look inside on the side, other side.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's already in there, and so if you eventually want to get the ES-Go, it just clicks in place. You can anchor the little cable that runs down to the bottom, a screwdriver, and Bob's your uncle. You're ready to go. So, that's kind of I love how when manufacturers do that, just kind of take the extra step to think through not just the initial purchase of the product, but the ownership of the product to determine, some other things you can do. So anyways, it's a GS Mini. Of course, it's on this list.
Yeah.
So anyways, without any further ado, we're going to play through all 6 of these guitars for you so you can hear for yourself what they sound like, what each one brings to the table, and what might be right for you. Check it out. So there you have it, 6 acoustic guitars under $600 that you can actually find available for the most part here in the year 2020. And I think we've given you a wide selection of stuff to just suit about any need, from body shapes to having electronics, not having electronics, even that Ibanez for the more electric-oriented player or couch commando, so to speak.
Yeah.
Out of these, I'm going to do to you what you did to me on another video. Which one would you get, Cooper? Put you on the spot.
So I want to, let's just say I'm taking the GS Mini out of it because
you own one?
I have one, and to be completely fair, I would choose this again pretty much over most things. I am a big fan of the A12. I think that as a student model or just as a nice maybe starter acoustic, even a step-up acoustic, it's really hard for me to beat the A12. I love this guitar as well because they're different tonally. You know, they're very different
Martins
guitars.
sound like Martins.
Yeah, and even at this price range, you can hear the difference between a Martin and a Taylor. And the good thing about them is they both sound great, and so you really can't go wrong. I'd probably have to say for me, the Taylors edge out everything else, and that might be somewhat of a basic answer or something predictable that you thought I might say, but it's the truth.
Come on,
it's
Cooper.
the truth.
We all knew you were going to say that. Well, let me go out a little bit.
Go your own way.
I'm gonna go my own way.
Hey, that's copyright. Hey, we got to.
Yep.
That cost us money.
Yep, it just did. Sorry. So I didn't mean it, YouTube. No, I would have a hard time picking through a lot of these because I do think they serve different needs. There was a time I remember I actually had an Ibanez acoustic electric guitar that I played a lot on stages, amplified at various places. It performed very, very well. And if I was needing a guitar specifically for that, which isn't happening a lot right now in 2020, but hopefully will return soon, I might go that route. You know, something that's not going to feed back a lot. You've never understood how important that is until you're standing on a very feedback-prone stage with, like, you're in a gym or a very echoey room or really loud stage monitors trying to escape feedback. So there's a part of that that would probably appeal to me. I think the best value in all of these, though, is the Yamaha. I have, you know, I spent a very large portion of my high school years learning guitar on a Yamaha acoustic. I still think that once they made the changes to the 800 series and did scallop bracing, it opened up so much of the tone of those guitars. And I really like the vintage tint. So if I had to pick one, and particularly was trying to find the very best value, I would probably get the Yamaha. Surprisingly, maybe for some to hear me say that. But I also really like this. I like the all solid wood construction. I like the tone you get out of the retro strings. I like the nut width. It'd be between those two for me, probably, and that, of course, goes with saying I already have a Koa GS Mini. So, you know, I'd want something different in my catalog. But yeah, that's probably where I would go down on that. So
I just want to throw something out there. It might be a little random, but I think about this with some of the Yamahas that we have here in the store because we always have a pretty good supply. And there's kind of, I've found there sometimes, but
I do the ordering, so yeah. I know some of the issues.
I would say that if you're going to a guitar store or our store and you come across maybe one of these Yamahas or something that we have a lot in the warehouse, there might be one that's sitting up on the shelf that's been there for a little bit, it's been played by a few different people, and the strings are a little worse for the wear. Maybe bug Nick at Alamo Music or somebody else to get some new strings on there because you will be surprised at any acoustic guitar or electric for that matter, how much it will come alive and feel so much more comfortable to you with a new set of strings and maybe just like a little TLC, a little polishing and all that stuff. I think some people get turned off because they go to their local big box store and they've had the same FG800 up on the wall that every single person that's looking for a guitar under $500 has played, and so they get turned off and they say, well, I only liked that Taylor 814 because it had a brand new set of elixirs on it. It's something that you don't think about, but try these guitars and try to find yourself a new acoustic guitar with some newer strings, you know, something that's been a little polished up, because I find that sometimes I have guitars that I haven't changed the strings on in a while, and I think I'm growing out of that guitar. I don't
just
love
dead,
it.
yeah.
But then I change the strings, and I'm like, man, this is like brand new.
Comes back to life. You know,
yeah.
it's totally off topic, but little aside, look into the industry. That's why Taylor and some other manufacturers have specifically chosen to put Elixir guitar strings on their guitars, because it's an advantage over a competitor that hasn't. If the guitar does hang on the wall for a period of time, and the guitar strings corrode and it kills the tone, you never know as a manufacturer how long a guitar might be in a box, might be in a warehouse, might be on a wall, and what the condition of the strings are going to be. So yeah, it's funny. Your point is why some manufacturers have chosen to go with coated strings, Elixir or D'Addario, what have you. So
yeah.
And the Monel actually work that way because they don't really rust.
I love those strings. They're
really
cool.
great. Yeah. Anyway, so hopefully you found this helpful. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you haven't done so and you're new to the channel, we review guitars, we talk guitars, we give you some inside information on guitars. We're all about guitars. And if you are too, then we would ask that you subscribe. We're trying to reach 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Help us do that and be part of our community. Make sure you like our videos, comment below, and keep coming back for more. At the end of the day, the very best guitar in the world
is the one that you're making music on that you got for Christmas that was under $600.
So none of our guitars qualify. Sad thought. Anyways, personally guitars.
All these do.
All these do.
Not
if you get
ours.
one for Christmas or Hanukkah. Yeah. No, I was just thinking, I never got a Christmas guitar.
Yeah, so you don't have the best guitar.
Maybe my wife will watch this video. Anyways, without further ado, thanks so much for watching. Keep coming back. We'll see you next time.